Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and it's time again to send some cars around the Pudsey Street circuit. We're going to start off with this, the Toyota Corolla SP3 car that we drove in this video we did about Knock Hill. Well, here we go then. I don't know much about these cars, to be honest, the SP3 class cars. They're like some kind of entry-level touring car. They have about 160-ish horsepower if I remember rightly, and I think they race in the German VLN series at the Nordschleife, so if you have any more information on the SP3 cars, let me know, because I think they're quite fun, interesting little cars, really good to race. But anyway, onto the lap then. We're coming down the Council Estate straight, and yeah, that 160 horsepower, it's not going to be much down this back straight. It's going to make it feel quite a long time coming down here, so I'm not sure really where this car's gonna finish. I would expect it to be quicker than the Ginetta Junior car we had last week, but other than that I'm not sure really whereabouts it's gonna finish. But you can see we go quite deep into the corner there, but come back for a nice double apex. We are helped out a little bit by some electronic aids in this car, so we have TC and ABS, which is fairly uncommon on touring cars actually, so that made it interesting. But you can see we can brake really late onto this downhill left-hander, which I forget if we have a name for it or not, but we come into trees then, and yeah, just using that power to keep the car stable, just a little bit of it, as that's what you kind of got to do with front-wheel drive cars, as we just clip over the bump there, as we're absolutely sending it around the Asda section. This is where this car will get most of its time, I imagine. Into the second to last corner then, and then Freedom corner to go, as that's where the oil is. As we come down then, the start finish straight past the petty station, and what's it going to be? It's going to be a 152.0, so we'll see where that is overall at the end. But let's move on to his next car then, another Toyota, this time the NGTC British Touring car. So this is Dan Lloyd's, the one that we drove in my BTCC skim pack video. So we're going to see what this thing can do. Obviously it's going to be a lot quicker than the SP3. This thing has around about 350 horsepower. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this will do actually. I expect it'll be around about where the likes of the Ginetta Super Cup car and those kinds of things are. We also have some classic Super Tourers as well. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how it does compared to them. It were a bit ropey coming out of the junction down onto the Council Estate straight there, but one thing that does let this car down is it doesn't have adjustable gear ratios, so this is, you'll see the rev limiter will start flashing, and yeah, this is max. We can't really go any quicker than that, but we slam on the brakes then into the insert sponsor here roundabout, a couple of wheels up on the curb there, so that'll cost us a little bit of time, some power understeer on the exit as well, as you'd expect with a touring car, so with a front wheel drive touring car that is. So it's not been the tidiest lap, but it's okay. If you've seen these kind of videos before, you know we don't grind out lap time. We just send it basically and see what happens. It's only a bit of fun. But anyway, let's go into Asda 1 then. A bit of understeer on the entry. It is quite an understeery car, this, especially compared to the SP3 car. We'll come into the second to last corner, then one more corner to go. Freedom bend, we come round, get on the power, a bit bouncy out of that corner, but we come across the start finish line then, and it's actually a sub 140, so 139.2. So I'm interested to see where that puts it. But let's move on to our final car, the VRC TA2 Chevrolet. This is going to be interesting, is this, because this car doesn't really do corners. All it does is straight lines, so we'll see what it can do. And you might already see the problem we have big, thick American car on narrow British roads doesn't really work, but we'll try his best anyway. Really early on the brakes up the hill to the junction here, as we go right the way down to first. We only have 4 gears to play with, remember, so right the way down to first, but this is where the thing will make its time back up down the council estate straight, as we're going to be flat out now. There's 120 miles an hour, 130 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour. It's absolutely blasting down this straight. About 500 horsepower, 650 newton meters of torque from that V8 motor, as we slam on the brakes once again quite early, being careful not to lock up. But look how deep it goes into the corner. It doesn't turn at all, but we hit the second apex then. That should be a pretty decent exit for us, as we bear left then onto the downhill section. I'm sure Prof Squash named this corner for me, but I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, we come around trees. I always remember this one because there's trees there and you don't want to hit them. But yeah, we come into Asda 1 then, keeping it in first around this section, just trying to keep it as tidy as possible. And look at the understeer there, a bit of a squirm from the rear on the exit. And yeah, it comes round the second to last corner and then into Freedom Corner. This car will like this corner because it's American and there's oil there. So anyway, we come across the start finish line and it's going to be a 136.7, we'll call it. So yeah, let's look at the final times for these cars then. There's the Chevrolet Camaro, 2/10 off of a Formula 4 car, so that's quite interesting. 2 very different cars doing similar lap times there. Then we've got the Toyota Avensis British Touring car, quicker by 1/10 than the Super Cup. So yeah, that's quite interesting as well. Quite a bit quicker than the old Super Tourers. And then the SP3 Corolla there in a little bit of a world of its own. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. It's always a bit of fun. I like to do these kind of every other Sunday. And yeah, if you did enjoy, remember to hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.